Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're gonna get started on the Mezco 112 Collective Spider-Man. This is, I'm gonna call it Ramita Spider-Man or Buscema, just classic Silver Age Spider-Man, whichever one you wanna go. This is based off of Kid Spider-Man, his younger counterpart, and I really like this figure. There are some gripes, like for instance, one is a personal one, and this is because Buttermilk got into it, but he ripped the stitching along the bottom right here when he took a swipe at Spider-Man. And that gripe is a personal one with my cat, not with the figure. But there are some things I do wish to talk about that hopefully I can put into words that work. So let's get to it. I want to start by saying this is not going to be like a Mafex Spider-Man. It can move, but no, it will not move in certain ways like a Revoltech or a Mafex. But it does have some decent moves, and I like that. One thing I do want to say is that I realize these heads have to be larger due to them enlarging the LED head, the light up head. And it sucks because if this was a little bit smaller, it'd have that perfect look. But it is a very big sculpt. Now, as far as articulation, there's going to be bunching in the suit to allow for a lot of free movement. But as you can see here, you can hit a T-pose. You can actually hit, because there's a lot of freedom in this suit, you can actually hit web wing style, hit almost on Y, right? You have your bicep swivel. You are double jointed. Looks really solid on that double joint. Torso wise, we can go left, we can go right. As you can see, there's a bunch of movements in the suit that I like, and it looks good. We don't have too much of a really good torso going forward, but when you couple that with legs going forward, it does look really good. I mean, it doesn't look good here because I'm just doing nothing, but we're gonna talk about that right now. So let's actually get some posing done. Even with our head sculpt, this is a normal head sculpt. And as you can see here, we can tilt left and right. And the head joint is like Superman. So the ball joint with that LED head is gonna be up there. So we actually just do a little bit of swapping, boop. We can wiggle the neck around. Like I said, if this is a little bit smaller, it'd be great. But as you can see here, we can lift slightly higher than 90 degrees, right? Have a beautiful double joint. We have thigh swivel. I wish it did go a little deeper, and I think that's what it is. I feel like this is coupled up here just a little too high, and that's probably one of my gripes. But like I said, I've sat down and I've made it work. Hold on one sec. There we go. And as you can see here, right, we can still get some really nice, tough poses. Looking really, really solid. If we do some spider poses, right? Like I said, once if that torso can get a little bit deeper, it'd be great. Because as you can see here, we'd probably be able to get a lot more cooler poses. But as you can see, you're probably gonna get the most basic of Spider-Man poses. Leg-wise, we do have a really nice idea of swiveling at the boot. I thought this was great. This actually does help with the articulation look a little bit better as you want to cross over and do some cool stuff like this. So it does look a little bit better when you're trying to do poses like this. And I like that. That means even getting down to a pose like this, doing a three-pointer, it looks good. It really does. So I like that. With that being said though, let's get ready to jump into some accessories. And I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, now we're gonna jump into accessories, which there is a lot. So I'm gonna try to find the easiest way to do this. Like for instance, like going over the hands, I love that I can do this right here. So this will allow me to go over the hands a lot more easier. Starting with the bottom, as we have the open camera hand, we have a pointing hand, we have my thwippers, we have some opened relaxed hands here in the third row. Next up, we have open web line hands. These are for holding the webbing. Then you have the actual camera holding hands for the shutter hand, the trigger for the shutter, and holding the camera in the opposite hand. We have another set of relaxed hands right here. These are more open action oriented, and then solid relaxed. And last but not least, we have just regular item holding hands or web hammock hands, depending on how you want to go about it. But I thought it was just easier to kind of go about it this way so you can see what you're getting into. And I like how these will look in the lighting. I feel like that's really nice to show off. Next up, you have an alternative sculpt for the squinty eyes on Spider-Man. that classic Ramita style. The ball joint included for all of them. Then you will have the half-mast head. I actually really like this sculpt a lot. This one actually feels a little smaller because you actually get to see that human side of the head. So it just feels better, but it's still a large head. We will have our unmasked head. Peter is slick, he think he's cool. But you do actually get glasses to cover up this cool guy's face. And actually fit on pretty well. I'm actually gonna pop it right on to see the ears where I always have trouble with. But yeah, you can pop those glasses on and now you have bifocal Peter Parker. Then you will have the mask head. You'll have hands dedicated to holding the mask for the unmasked head. Then you have the LED light up head. I really like the way this head came out and it looks very normal. And to pull it out, what you're gonna do is I used tweezers and then I put the batteries in. The batteries would go in flat side up, reaching the top, and you plug it back in. And then we're going to, actually, hold on, gotta grab my tweezers. They were next to a magnet, so they were being held there. Here we go, I'm gonna turn it on real quickly. And as you can see, I really like the way that this came out. I really, really do. This looks fantastic. So I'm gonna turn it off to save some battery power. Don't wanna have to replace them already. Then you'll get a bunch of different webbing designs and webbing things. Like we have our long threaded web. This one can be posed and it's wired. I'm gonna leave it how it is perfectly though, because I'm gonna use my own webbing that I have. You get a web capture line, which I thought this was cool. Get to capture somebody in it. Has a little opening to put bodies in. You get a short thwip line. Then you'll get a much longer one for web swinging. You'll also get, as if you were webbing someone in the face. I love that this is a staple for all Spider-Man. You'll get the webbing backpack though. This one is a classic, the webbing backpack. He had 1 hour to get his things from point A to point B. We have the web shield. I like this classic right here, the web shield. Next, you'll also get a web sling, which can also be turned into a web parachute. As you can see, there's 4 hooks at the top, as well as this. Now, if you turn it upside down, you can actually turn it into a hammock, so you lay in. But as you can see here, we're gonna latch into all 4s for our parachute. Let's see if I can do this on camera, because I suck at doing stuff on camera. But it looks like today, I'm lucky. So here we are with our web chute. And this is a pretty dope design. I like this. Accessory-wise, this is like really dope. And if you want, like I said, turn it upside down, turn it into a hammock, get some classic Spider-Man stuff going, it'll be really nice. You'll also get a newspaper. And the newspaper will say, Spider-Man's identity, still a mystery. Classic design. I believe, I can't see what it is. Oh, Banner Gamma Experiments at Critical Stage. So daily musical paper for Spider-Man debuted. Then we will have some spider tracers. These are very tiny. I'm gonna keep these in here because I do not want to lose these, the spider tracers. You'll get an extra stand, and the extra stand comes from you wanting to pop it on and attach to your regular stand. And when you attach the opposite end, is for your spider sense to tingle. Right behind them, right? You'll also get the web lighting spider design. Ooh, fancy stuff. Right? You'll also get a camera. The camera will have the extra pieces for you to attach to it, but I'm being a jerk and I didn't attach that just yet, mostly because these things are really small. I'm very prone to losing these things. As well as this tiny little trinket here. I believe this is the tracer for the spider tracers, but yeah, I can't remember right now as I'm having a whole brain meltdown. But yeah, being exhausted doesn't help. But back to our focus on the Spider-Man. I think accessory-wise, it makes up for the big head, but that may not be for everyone. But man, I still ended up really liking this Spider-Man. I just wish the head was a little smaller. But as far as classic Ramita design, I really like this. I'm gonna compare him to the MCU one, as well as the first Mezco Spider-Man, so you can see what you're getting into. I'm gonna try to find my, what's the name? My Amazing Fantasy one, because I feel like that would be a fair size-wise comparison, as they're both supposed to be smaller. So that's what I'm gonna do. So give me a second. Let me look into my stuff so I can try to find things properly for the size comparison. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Spiders stink. All right, now we're gonna jump into the size comparison. Let's compare it to the old adult Mezco Spider-Man that came out before. And as you can see, this is one of their first bodies. It's crazy how far we've come with the Spider-Man, because he looks way thinner than any of the other Mezco stuff. I think he's on a Gomez body, now that I think about it. But it's cool to see just how far that we've come. And then when you compare it to the MCU one, I think they're the same height, but there are some modifications on this body that definitely update it, where it's gonna be the neck, the thickness of the body. I just feel like I need to figure out how the hips work to get better movement, but this one probably has the best movement there is when you compare the three. Right, let me move this slightly a bit over. Right, and now, you know what? I don't think the head is crazy big now that I've seen it with other Spider-Man. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it's because I'm looking at 3 different Spider-Man in 3 different shapes, but it doesn't look that bad nowadays. Now that I've compared it to other ones. Now, when we compare it to our Marvel Legends Amazing Fantasy, again, these guys are supposed to be around the same size, and I think this actually works out really well, right? But as you can see here, his head is really, really small, or this one looks too big. It all is a matter of perspective now, especially now that I'm looking at it with differences with other Spider-Men. Because some people just got big ass heads, and some people got little ass heads. I've discussed this once before. Now, when we compare to some other stuff, here we are, like a Jada Toys Ryu. And I feel like I like this size. He's not too big and not too small. When you compare it to some Valiver stuff, here we are with a Garrison Cavalry. He's not a full-blown adult. He's still a teenager, so it looks really good next to this guy. Then we have a G.I. Joe Classified. So yeah, it's not terrible. I like this. I like this a lot. Right? Let's take these guys away. Then we compare it to an SHF. Here we are with Ultraman Dino from the Shinkocho Seiho line. SHF is still particularly small. Small. I said small. Here we are with a Mafex Terminator. You know what? Here we are also with a Mafex Spider-Man. Right? So yeah, it's kind of crazy because it all depends on a matter of perspective. But I guess maybe because it feels a little bit more rounded now, it's not that terrible. But one more thing I do want to add before I go is that I found my web wings on my tech suit. And these web wings actually look really good on this guy, even though they're the tech suit version. But if you want to pop these on, waist-wise, this technically fits on there. So you can create web wings. So if you want to do that, it's a good look, y'all. It works. It works. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you got a lot of knowledge out of it. I hope you enjoy the photos at the end, because everyone knows I love me some Spider-Man, right? So here we are. We're going to look good. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be good. We're going to do good, right? And please, I hope you guys are doing the same. So please, as always, be good, do good. Drink your water, guys. Later.